All right, it's that time again. Time for the solo overnighter in the woods. And I'm thinking we build a do-it-yourself alpha tent. Let's get to it. All right, before we kick this off, we want to clarify a few things. Nowhere in last week's video did I mention I was going to quit YouTube. Along with that, nowhere in last week's video did I ever mention I was going to stop doing solo overnighters. However, I did say late February, early March-ish, once the bumpers get done on my vehicle and the rack on top of the vehicle, we're taking my show on the road. And I also said we're going to go to new locations, do some collabs, but never once said we're quitting YouTube, never once said we're stopping solo overnighters. And now for the second thing I want to clarify. Nowhere in the last 3 videos did I state I spent $20K for a paint job. In fact, I never even stated I got a paint job. I did say I spent a tiny, tiny fraction of that, and I showed what I did to the vehicle and talked about it in 2 videos. So my advice, watch the video, watch it all the way to the end, go back, watch the previous 3 videos, and I guarantee 95% of your questions will be answered. On that note, let's get on with today's video. Now for today's video, an alpha tent. What is an alpha tent? To understand what an alpha tent actually is, we have to travel back in time to the year 1994. Now, I say 1994 because that's when, according to my research, the first time it was published, and it shows how to make an alpha tent out of a military poncho, shock cord poles, and simple wing twist wire caps. The main point of this is to convert a poncho into a dome tent, kind of like a turtle shell. Now, for me, the first time I actually seen something like this was about 7 years ago on a channel called Ugly Tent. So go to YouTube and type Ugly Tent, and you'll see a guy named Kenny, and he's up there doing a bunch of different things. If you're not subscribed to his channel, please do so. Tell him I sent you. Once again, Ugly Tent is the channel name. Check him out. Like and subscribe. But he did this with actual wooden poles. So I got thinking about that. I was like, you know, this is something that we need to look into, because why not make some do-it-yourself shock corded poles and toss them into a pack? They're going to weigh ounces, and I have a contained shelter kit. Every pole here is 1 foot in length, and they just pop right in there. Go ahead and assemble the entire length of the pole, and then we're going to lay it diagonal across our poncho. I'm going to place this right next to my grommet, and we're going to count off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's our elastic. I don't want to hold on to it here and cut it, because then it's going to jump all the way back. We're going to pull it tight. I'm going to pinch it right here, and we're going to make our cut. There's the extra. Get rid of it. And right here, we're going to do a simple overhand knot. Around and back through. That's a standard pretzel knot. And then pull it tight. Now I can just let go. And then simply trim off the excess. Now for your wire connectors. There's 2 things you have to keep in mind with this. 1, the size of your pole. And 2, most importantly, they have to be large enough to act as a stopper in your grommet. You don't want it to pass through the grommet. You want it to hit the grommet and stop. That way you can pop your tent open. Make sense? So what you're gonna have to do is play around with whatever size poles you have and see which connector actually fits on there. These ones right here go from a gauge, and it says 2 by number 18 max, 3 by number 12. That's not really a lot of help, especially when you're trying to compare these to a pole, but most people have extra ones at their house. Go in there, see what you got. If not, take a pole to a hardware store, size it up, grab 4 of them. Cost you pennies. Then from here, just a matter of popping them in, getting that dome shape. Put that down there, push it down, it expands it out, pop it into that hole, and then you can flip it over. And make your adjustments from there. Now, 2 things really quick before we check out the Alpha tent. 1, the cap. Once you force it on there, you have to work to get it off, but it does come off. So what could you do? Duct tape or Gorilla brand duct tape. You could use Gorilla Glue, rubber cement, hot glue gun. Pick one of those options and I guarantee it's not going to come off. Second thing, how many poles did we actually use? On this one right here, we used 10 1-foot poles. Now, is that going to work for a Helicon? Probably not, because the Helicon poncho is actually shorter than an actual military or military style poncho. So I suggest you get more poles and play with it, find out what works for you. But using an actual military poncho, like that one right there, you need 10 1-foot poles. Not bad for something that was posted back in 1994. We're talking 30 years ago. Now, there's several options with this. We can leave it just like this, climb underneath it, and spend the night. Or we could stake out the back end, lift the front up, attach it to, say, a ridge line between 2 trees, put a stick on that end over there like a Y branch, one over here, prop it up, or stake that end down, prop up one corner, put a fire out front, trap that heat, still have it high enough to where we can look out. So there's several different sleeping options, but right now let's go ahead and get inside and check it out. Now check this out. Looking at it from the outside, it looks small. But just like Doctor Who's TARDIS, it's larger on the inside. I'm 6'1", I'm laying diagonally with my boots on, and we're barely touching that corner grommet on the end down here. I still have about 8 or 10 inches on this end over here before my head hits that corner. So laying on my side, I can roll to my back, have room over here for my gear, and to be honest, you have a good chance of staying dry like this. So moving forward, this is going to be part of my kit, and the best part is I didn't spend 50 bucks in shipping. We spent about 12 and did it ourselves. Priceless. We have these standard plastic ABS tent stakes and this size pole that I showed you in the video. It fits perfectly in that notch. The standard wooden tent stake of your choice, same thing. We're going to place it over top of this, pull it out, pull it tight, and then just stake it down. And that right there is yet another shining example of why I prefer a tarp over a tent and a poncho over a tarp. The versatility and the options are just endless. And moving forward, this will be part of my kit. And to be really honest, you can get that exact same poles and find a 6x6, 8x8, 10x10 tarp, measure it out, and do the exact same thing. That way you can carry a tarp and have a makeshift tent whenever you need it. Now, before chow, I want to show you this gift from a buddy of mine named Tony Powers. The first feature that stands out for me is this recess or divot right here. Not only is it in the steel, it's actually in the micarta handles as well. I can put my index finger in there, my thumb on top, press into it and actually do those fine carving tasks with no fear of my fingers slipping off. So I appreciate the thought process, and it's looking at it, it's placed in there perfectly. It's uniform on both sides, and it was all done by hand. And the second and most important feature to me is that we have a Scandi grind, and it goes all the way down to the end of that blade. Now, 90% of knife makers do this. Some do it by hand, some have a machine do it. What I found is the 5 to 10% that don't do it is usually done for one of two reasons. One, they have a jig, and no matter how long the blade is, they just stick it in there, it grinds both sides, and it stops about a 1/4 inch, 3/16 from the end. And they say it's because it's a safety issue for your finger. Okay. The second reason why it's done is because if it's done by hand, most people don't have the skill level or skill set to actually make it match where the machine did the grinding. These are all ground by hand. That's why you got a uniform grind all the way down. In my opinion, that takes skill to do that, to look at it and it's uniform on both sides. So not only is this a piece of art, there's tons of skill that was involved also to create this masterpiece. Now, how do you get one of these? Simply go to Tony Powers on Facebook or Tony Powers _dirtbound on Instagram. Both those links will be in my video description box. Message him, tell him you're interested in a knife. Go to his Instagram and his Facebook. He has pictures of other knives as well. And he does custom orders on top of that. So once again, check out Tony Powers on Facebook, message him, and get her done. All right, here we go. Dinner / breakfast of champions. Oh yeah. Catch you all in a few. And that's what we're talking about right there. Other than collecting firewood for the night, that's probably going to be it for me. So on that note, I'll catch you all in the morning. All right, now for the exciting part. I keep getting asked, when am I going to start teaching classes again? Well, you're in luck. March, April, and May, once again, March, April, and May of 2025, we're back in the game. And here's the best part. Those that are part of Survival Mastery, you get to train with Survival Mastery instructors. Myself, E.J. Snyder from Naked and Afraid and the TV show Lost, for those that didn't know. Jake Trent from Buckeye Bushcraft and Kenny Dietrich of Ugly Tent. We're going to host a series of basic classes, and here's the best part about this. It's a low stress, low impact, focused on learning. There's no boot camp beat down where you're in the woods for 18, 20 hours a day beating a dead horse and just keep, wheeling and dealing and making it up as we go. We have a structure. We're going to do round robin classes where we are going to educate you. We're going to demonstrate the task at hand, and then you're going to imitate it. And at the very end, you're going to go ahead and test yourself and see what you actually learned over that weekend. It's a 2.5-day class. Once again, March, April, and May. And those dates can be found on the website, uglytent.com. Once again, uglytent.com. That link will be inside the video description box. Look forward to seeing you there. Good old Juan Valdez. All right, so it's that time again. The Etsy store is open, and once again, my Etsy store is open right now. And what do we got? We're dropping 100 Corporals Corner skillets as we speak. We have the Frontier skillet, has a pipe nub, inserted stick, and you're in the game. Space saver, drop it into a pack, haversack, butt pack on a military harness, and it weighs about 6 ounces, and you're in the game. Now for my personal favorite, the Cowboy skillet. Check out that seasoning right there. Doesn't get much better than that. And last but not least, the most popular, the Corporals Corner folding skillet. Check out that action on that bad boy. Boom. All those are available on my Etsy page. We have the Corporals Corner skillet bag made by Campcraft Outdoors, and that's found on the Campcraft link in my video description box as well. Once again, 100 skillets just dropped. As stated last week, the Corporals Corner Cowboy skillet and the Frontier skillet, both in about 2 weeks, will no longer be available. Why? Because we're making room for something else. So if you want these, get them while you can. Let's go ahead and talk about this shelter. 100% success. And the best part is we did it ourselves for less than 20 bucks. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put the package of shock cord poles in my Amazon store. That link is in my video description box. Go to the shelter section, click it, and you're going to see them right there. And then just follow the video. Whatever size poncho you have or tarp, lay them out. Go 2 longer than that. And then cut them the exact way I showed you and put those caps on there, and you'll be good to go. Best part is this thing folds up into almost nothing. Stick with the 1-footers, and that will fit perfectly in a butt pack or haversack, and it's there when you need it. One last thing. If you are truly interested in training with instructors from Survival Mastery, get on it now. Go to uglytent.com and make it happen. We're limited to 40 spaces per class, no more than that. And once they're full, they're full. On that note, let's get out of here. With that, all the gear in my videos can be found in 2 places. 1, my Amazon affiliate page, and 2, my Etsy store. Both links are found inside my video description box. Now please do me that favor. Hit that like and subscribe button, then ring that notification bell. Once you ring that bell, please select all notifications. And as always, thank you for your comments, views, and support. Thanks for watching. Get out in the field, have some fun. I'm going to catch you next time.